Yeah. Yeah, baby. Get the hammers out, baby. The hammers are coming out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yours is bigger
Now
than
that's
mine.
an intro. Yeah.
I love it. That's the thumbnail right there, baby. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bashing heads in, baby. Having
All
fun,
right.
having a
Yeah.
blast. That's what it's all about. What's going on? It's your boy Preston, Phat Samurai Guy, hanging out in the movie dojo. And hanging out in the dojo with me, your boy, is actor. That's right. Filmmaker, writer, director, the human tank. That's right. Bryan Brooks. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, Samurai, thank you so very much for having me on. And I want to start by saying you have the perfect voice for this line of work. I mean, you have an amazing radio voice. It's almost like you were built for interviews.
I do the best I can. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, you're doing pretty good.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah, man, but it's great to have you here. I had to reach out to the legend and contact you and get you on the show, man, because I came across a badass, hilarious, fun as all hell movie called Wrecker. I'm going to get to Wrecker in a little bit, man, and I really enjoyed it. I loved it, actually. I was like, I was enjoying the movie so much, brother, that I was like trying hard not to laugh out loud and wake up my wife because she has to sleep. We work at different times of the day. I was like, oh man, I hope I wasn't laughing too loud. I'm going to wake her up. She's going to smash me around, yeah, man, I really enjoyed it, but we're going to get to that in a little bit. But man, let's talk about you, man, a little bit of your background. And
thank you for the compliments on the film, by the way. Like, thank you very, very much. It's so nice to create something that you work on so hard for so many years with only a budget that I can afford. I could only work on it when I could, and to have somebody watch it and like it, because what you get a lot is if somebody's going to make a comment, it's usually mean. I had a comment just the other day that said, this looks like low quality trash. It's just somebody typing something mean. Like, okay, my response is, how many movies have you made?
Exactly.
How much time have you spent writing a script, developing each and every character, taking all the money that you've earned, everything that you have in the bank, and putting it into this endeavor, hoping that people have a 2-hour escape from their lives and they have a good time. And I'll tell you the reason why I decided to become a filmmaker. There's a whole story behind that. But the whole reason behind making this movie is because I'm getting a little sick of all the trash that's out there that costs $200 million, $220 million. You've got to be kidding me. You spend all this money. And is there a message behind it? Are you a better person for watching this? Is there any mention that makes you better as a person? Anything whatsoever? And a lot of the instances I'm seeing that the answer is no. I'm like, okay, what if I tried my hand at this? And I did. It took me a long time. It took me 9 years to make the film.
Wow, 9 years.
Yeah, I know that's I didn't know if I should tell that to the public or not. It's a little embarrassing. But when you're just a guy, I'm not a big studio. I'm pretending I'm a big studio. I'm just a guy. I called my friends. I have a friend that owns a restaurant. Hey, Nick, can I film at your place? He's like, yeah. Okay, so I went down, I filmed at Catelli's. Okay, cool. We got 2 scenes out of that. I asked the Brook Trails Lodge, hey, can I film there? I want to have a strip club. Can I turn your place into a strip club? And the answer was yes. And I think I'm getting, and it's for free. I'm not charged anything. And that's the way that I can operate. Then I get my friends to show up and I get to try my hand at competing with the big studios. And so far I'm doing it.
Yeah, no, you're doing it, man. And, you guys that watch this channel, my audience knows me. They know what I like, and it's legit. Wrecker is legit, and I'm so happy to see more and more filmmakers like you. This is why we support you, brother, because you're very honest, you're very open, and that's what it's all about. And and I'm glad you said you were that honest to let everybody know it took 9 years, because when it's a stop and go process, you got to raise some more money for this and keep going, and then you have life. Like I said, like you did everything yourself. Like it's just one guy. Okay. And especially
I don't want to take away from that. Now, the guy that taught me how to make movies, he was there to help me with lighting. He helped me with some major decisions. I don't want to say I made the whole movie by myself, but for the most part, I painted the walls. I built the sets. There's some big sets. I built them by myself with no help. I built sets where I ended up falling through 3 walls, and it ended up I just couldn't put it in the film, so I had to scrap it. It took me 32 days to make that set, and I couldn't use it. So there's what you saw in the movie. There's also a lot you didn't see. there's the things you got to cut out. I edited the entire film. I did the coloring. And then I found out I got a quote in the very beginning. There's a guy that runs out of a building. It's 16 seconds long. There's explosions that happen behind him. I got a quote. My cheapest quote for that one scene was $4,950, basically $5,000. So if I was going to have special effects in this movie, of which there are several explosions and special effects, I'd be looking at, well over 150 grand or so.
Right.
Base amount. So I had to learn After Effects, become an expert in After Effects, which I am now. I had to learn professional coloring because I couldn't afford it.
Right.
I did all of the voiceover work myself.
Yeah.
Once you get the movie done, you're like, wait a second, voice over all these characters. So I voiced over other characters other than mine. I even did stunts for people that wouldn't do the stunts, like falling on a bench. I did all of the car crashes myself, and then had to put a bunch of ice packs on my back the next couple of days. I got in.
And the movie shows you do that too. You can see you driving. Yeah.
Once I started doing it, Brandon, who taught me how to make, Brandon Hamilton taught me how to make films. He said, I want to sit next to you. Let me. How was it when you hit the cars? I'm like, I'm only going about 20 miles an hour, maybe 25. And I learned if you lean off the gas or hit the brake, right, if you pussy out basically right before you hit it, then it hurts and it jolts you.
Okay.
But if you hit the gas, you push the car more and it jolts your body less. So I just leaned into it and hit the car. And then Brandon said, let me sit in the passenger seat with a safety belt on and let me get some shots. So you see me turning around, looking back, I back into one car, turn around again, hit the other car. He's in the car with me. So we got those great shots that I was able to use. Lost the camera doing it because let's put a camera in one of the cars, and then I rammed the car. Well, that camera doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Live and learn.
Yeah. Wow.
Overall, it was a blast.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And and I had another director I had on here, and he did kind of like a kaiju tokusatsu monster flick called Crabs. Eventually, you have giant crabs fighting each other.
Well, wait, Crabs. That was Mendocino. That was Mendocino.
Yeah, you know him.
Yeah, Crabs came out last year, and it was in the Mendocino. It was a low budget, right?
Yeah.
I never saw it, but
it's fun.
So that's my that's my same county. That guy was north of me. I heard that.
Look at that! It's a small world. Check that out.
Yeah, small world. Yeah, crazy. I actually know that guy. How was the movie? Was it good?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I had a blast with it. Yeah, it was fun interviewing him on the show, but he was very similar story to yours. Like it took I think almost 10 years for him to do Crab. It's very similar. Yeah.
Well, when you've got a studio, when you've got funding, and somebody says, "Hey, I want you to do this, I want you to do that," and they give you all the money, well, then you hire all the people. You don't build the sets yourself. You don't do the editing yourself. You don't do the coloring. Other people do it all at the same time. So the cool thing is now that I know all these things, I know now I can even do my own probably audio at this point.
Right.
The next film, from writing to finished product, will probably be a year.
Okay.
Yeah, so my next one will be a horror film based in a winery, in the cellars of a winery.
Ooh, yes.
And so I'm just waiting to get started on that and need a little bit more push and a little bit more money. Later on this year, I'm going to start that project.
Copy that. So your film schooling was Wrecker. Like you just learning as you go and getting better and better, and you knowing what to do and what not to do. And
it's kind of what I hear. Yeah, a lot of people do in life. You kind of start out and you don't really know what you're doing. We watched, my wife and I watched a documentary about Spielberg and how he started. Like, okay, so you made Duel, and then if you're familiar with Duel.
Oh, I love Duel. Yeah.
Duel, I remember that used to come on TV like once a month, and I would watch it. Like, it's a great movie about, you never really find out why the big truck is chasing the little car, but he just does it. So Spielberg just transferred that over to Big Shark Little Boat. Yeah, it's technically the same movie, just with the much greater depth of character. But when Spielberg talked about it, he goes, "I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and all of a sudden I had a budget. Like, okay, you go over there and you do this, and okay, well the mechanical shark just sank in the water. What do we do? Improvise, right. Like really, Spielberg didn't know what he was doing. So when I feel like I don't know what's going on. What I used to do during the filming of Wrecker is I just acted like I knew what was going on.
There you go. Copy that. Yeah, copy that. We got some people watching right now. Shout out to Red Eclipse Films. He is back being a certified channel, badass YouTube channel member. Good to see you back, brother. We got the entertainment headquarters. Hello, Fat Samurai Guy, and special guests, Brian Brooks. There you go. Yeah, he's saying hello there. Yeah, good to see
Hello,
you.
thanks.
He corrected himself for the spelling there on the next one.
It's a Y, if that matters. Yeah, that's been happening my whole life. Brian, B-R-Y. Everybody says I because there's
Yeah,
conditions to spell it that way,
yeah,
but that's okay.
yeah. Oh, we have here Car Star saying Wrecker is a hell of a ride. Look at
Hey,
that.
Yokums, thank you.
All right, nice. It is definitely a hell of a ride, man. And
Thank you.
before you got the filmmaking bug and got into Wrecker, I was looking up your stuff on IMDb here, and you were involved with some camera work and electrical equipment first on some
Yeah,
other projects.
the first step was to step behind and see how the process works, and see how the director worked with the actors on very, very low budget films, which is really how you get the nitty gritty on. And I remember at one point, what was it, Novelty or something? I said to the director, like, hey, it helps if you turn the microphone on. We're having some trouble with the audio where you got to hit the on button. when you're in charge of so much stuff, it's really easy to forget stuff. I remember on there's a scene when I'm arguing with the detective over using bullets and guns before we go into this big den and fight all these guys. I'm like, I gave myself the Indiana Jones, I don't like snakes thing. Well, I don't like guns.
Yeah.
And there's a backstory behind that, just in case there's a sequel, which there should be. And so, so when you're calling the people out, you're like, I got to get two, 3 fog machines ready, because there's always a fog machine's always crap out, setting the orange light, setting the blue light, getting the people there, the audio. Then I had to cut a hole in the Pelican case to get that shot upwards of us. Thinking about doing all this stuff, even though I wrote the script, I forgot to practice my lines.
Oh.
So we go to film, there's 15 people standing around, and I can't remember what I'm supposed to say. So there's things like that kind of happen. And, like I bring that up because the other guy forgot to turn on the microphone. Oh yeah. I've forgotten to do such a basic thing as to memorize my damn lines before I go into my own production. And so the other actor was hinting, hey, you're supposed to say this. I'm like, oh God. Give me a sec to review, guys. We ended up pulling it off, and a lot of people say that's their favorite scene though. So that one worked out.
Did you do a little ad-libbing in that scene there?
Yes, yeah. Mostly, instead of saying the lines that I had written down, sometimes, and I learned this from Clint Eastwood, he would say, you can use your face and your expressions to say the lines. Show don't tell is the deal. So instead of saying that I'm annoyed with what he's doing, I try to just show it on my face. I knew we had 3 cameras, one wide, one on him, and one real close up on me. Like, all right, that's the one I'm going to use with myself. So I'm just going to show that I'm annoyed, look over at him, tilt my head like that. And it worked. It worked better than actually reverting back to a bunch of dialogue. Hey, I'm annoyed. Hey, I'm annoyed. No. What would Clint Eastwood do? He would just use that Clint Eastwood look.
Right.
And I love the fact that he's still around and still kicking, by the way. I wish I could meet him. What's he, 93 now or something? Like, what an impact that man has had on the world.
Oh, I know. Outlaw Josie Wales, baby.
Oh, God.
For
me, it was the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, that's one of my top 10, if not top 5 movies. I love that man. I love what he did. But in that movie, you get all 3 characters are so well shelled out. They're so well, like, they spend a lot of time letting you know the characters, so you really get into it, and then they all face off at the end, and you see that influence on the greats that are alive now. Like Tarantino's done that twice now, where he's got a gun here and a gun here and a gun here. Well, he's paying homage to the greats.
Oh yeah.
Sergio Leone on that
triple threat showdown, the classic, and that score by Ennio.
And the score, beautiful. Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good. And I think there's a documentary for Sergio Leone on Netflix right now. I think there's a documentary that just came out. I got to watch that. Yeah, for sure. Because
I hope so, because I tell you what, with all there's a lot of junk that's out right now. You might as well watch a good documentary where you learn something. And since I am in the studying of stories and how to tell stories and how to impact your life, okay, well, let me learn, what did these people like Spielberg, what did they do? George Lucas, like this beautiful, wonderful, maybe the greatest trilogy of all time with Star Wars. And now look at it. You put it in the wrong hands, and now it's like, well, now everybody's making fun of Star Wars. And is the Acolyte going to bring it back? It doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's you know, how when you craft a story like that with good and evil, and you learn lessons along the way and character
Yeah.
development, boy, that's what I wanted to get into. Why make a trash movie when you can make a good old fashioned 80s style movie and pepper in little messages that are good, little messages in here? When I'm speaking about God or speaking about life, there's a reason I wrote that stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, there's a blood and guts, and there's gore, and there's the action and stuff, and there's also stuff that makes you think if you choose to think about it. A lot of people don't pay attention when people are talking; they don't pay attention. Okay, get to the action. So I satisfy those people as well.
Exactly, exactly. And going back to Disney era Star Wars. This is my reaction to Disney Star Wars right now. This is me. I'm done. I'm just so checked out. I don't care anymore. That's it.
I gotta tell you, I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. Maybe Deadpool can resurrect him, you know, and it probably will. But boy, when you take the source material and you piss on it, you make people angry. Exactly. And you know, I've listened to, I don't know if you listen to Nerdrotic. He gives you an update every couple of days as to what's going on. He's a very intelligent guy, and he has this inside ear on it, and he's like, "Hey man, things don't seem to be getting any better. What's up next? Madam Web, could it possibly be worse than the Marvels?" Yes. Come on, guys! Like you know, like it used to be easy. You know, a lightsaber, good, bad. You know, and now it's some messaging that I don't particularly agree with. And boy, when you're cramming stuff like that down people's throats, then it's not entertainment anymore. It's more like a rally that you don't want to be at.
Yeah, we go to the movies to escape.
That's the whole deal.
It's the whole point.
Yeah.
And you can escape with Wrecker, baby. That's right.
I hope so. Yeah.
That Bryan Arnold is the best. That's what he's calling you now, Bryan Arnold.
Well, Bryan Arnold. So Bryan Arnold is one of the two guys. There's the Willis. What's it called? The Willis Shakespeare Club here, and that's Brian and Billy. They're two best friends that live here in my little town.
Oh, okay, nice.
And so the two guys that have the microphones that are the knives.
Yeah.
Bryan Arnold's the bigger of the two.
Okay, all right.
So those two are best friends, and I told you I originally wrote that for a different guy named Zach Darling, and he was going to be more like a circus entertainer, and all the lines were his. But then those guys said, "Hey, can we have a part in your movie?" And I was like, "Well, maybe I could give that part to Brian and Billy." So I divvied up the lines, and I said, "Why don't you guys take the lines and beat them back and forth like a Beastie Boys song?"
Right.
And they did it. And I hadn't heard it until the day we filmed. And they came in, they screwed up very few times. They did a great job, and they had their blocking down and everything. It's kind of nice to sit back with a couple of guys that aren't just friends, but that are actors and take it seriously. And they show up with their lines memorized, and they get it right the first time. Like, oh, this is great. We don't have to do 17 takes, you know. And I thought that was really entertaining to have a couple of guys that and they're friends, and they can see their friends. And I had a good time stabbing Billy in the shoulder. If you couldn't see the foreshadowing, there's knives on the microphone. Gee, what's going to happen? But that was half the fun of making the movie. Is don't take it too seriously.
No,
a lot of friends, when they saw it at the premiere, they said, "I'm surprised it was so damn funny." Like, well, if you know me, I wrote it.
Yeah, that's one of the things. The main things I love about it. Because as soon as I started watching, I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. And the way you turn your head to like talk to people, like that little turn, I can't do it. I can't do it like you. And the way you talk, you know, the voice you make.
So that's
no guns, just my tools.
My most famous, if you want to call him a fan, I had a friend that works for Robert Downey Jr. and he said, "Hey, I'm going up to the RDJ's lot." I was the RDJ. What's that? Robert Downey Jr. I'm like, "He's one of your clients?" Like, yeah. "Hey, could you tell him I made the movie?" He said, "Yeah." And he gets back to me a week later. He goes, "Well, Robert Downey Jr. actually watched your film." I'm like, "Oh God, I'm honored." What did he say? Well, nothing too terribly good. He said he almost stopped watching it because he didn't like my voice. Now, I am obviously making fun of Christian Bale's Batman.
Yeah.
Obviously, like that should be, obviously I'm talking like that. Like that's what I'm doing. I'm doing it because I thought it would be funny.
Right.
But he said once you get past that, Robert Downey Jr. said that he liked the story of the film and he watched it all the way through. And what a compliment that is from maybe one of the top 10 most famous people in the world watched my little film. What a great honor that is.
Check that out. He didn't hit stop or quit. He watched it to the end.
Well, you figure somebody like that, like he gets 67 offers a day. Hey, read this script. Hey, help me out from all these people. And, my little, hey, asked a friend, hey, would you give him the link or something? Well, and he did, and he watched it. What a nice guy Robert Downey Jr. is. And my wife, her favorite movie is, she's sitting right here watching. You're on. The Charlie Chaplin movie.
Chaplin.
Yeah, Chaplin. Yeah. So I actually hadn't seen it until I met her, and we said, "What are your favorite movies?" And I was like, "Terminator, Highlander." It's hard to Terminator, Highlander, and probably Good, the Bad, the Ugly are my top 3. And she said, "Chaplin, just Chaplin. I love this movie, Chaplin." I'm like, you know what? I've never seen that. So we sat and watched it. Oh wow, yeah. You can see that this actor is destined to go on to do things.
Yeah, that's a classic movie. So
it's very, very.
It's the same thing. I never saw it. My wife showed it to me. Same thing.
Yeah. Okay, so we have the same background on that. It's just it wasn't an action movie, so I didn't see it when it came out, and I was probably 19 or so when it came out. But to show the good and the bad side of a character really allows you to understand the person. Yeah. And instead of all glorified, he's so great. Hey, he's a human being, and Chaplin made mistakes too. I really like, that aspect of the film.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was immaculate.
And his acting was amazing. Yeah.
So good. So good. Yeah, so good. We got Mazar here. Says that's some real wrecking for you. Method actor Bryan. There you go. Say hello there. Yeah. We got Toma here. Thanks for your hard work, Bryan. Wrecker kicks some serious butt. Look at that.
Yeah, thank you. Right on.
Oh, I agree. Andor was amazing. That was the only thing Star Wars that I enjoyed recently. Yeah.
Did you like it? I gotta say I didn't like it.
Did you go? Did you finish all the way to the end?
I watched the first episode and I didn't watch the rest.
Yeah, that was a lot of people. That was 80% of the world.
Well, that's the thing. So like with my film, my deal is I'll give a movie 5 minutes, and if you don't catch me in 5 minutes, I move on to something else. I don't give it half an hour. And so Andor, I gave 1 episode, and I didn't really care about the next. I'm like, okay, here's some new characters and blah blah blah. It's a little boring. Oh wait, I've heard this before. Wait till the second season of. I don't watch a whole season to get interested in the second season. Although that did work with Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, it's an immaculate set. I didn't watch it until years after the last episode, was it 7 or 8, was filmed, the last season. And then I sat down. I was like, I know this is going to be like Breaking Bad, where I'm going to watch the first episode, and then 2 weeks of my life are gone because it's so good. I've got to watch the whole thing. Yeah. Sure enough, Game of Thrones, although it's a little slow in the first episode, but then by the second, then you're in and you're screwed. And I heard about the Red Wedding. And actually, my wife said, you've got to watch this show, and she showed me. I forgot the actor's name. It was The Mountain versus Oberyn, Pedro Pascal, and she just showed me that fight.
Viper,
think that he's going to win. That's what that show does. Right about the time you really start liking somebody, they smash his head in, and I was like, okay, I've got to watch the show now.
Yeah.
There's some really good things out. I like the House of the Dragons was real good. Waiting for that second season.
I heard good things.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I kind of gave up on Game of Thrones the last season.
A lot of people did, but you have to remember that's what they do. Yeah. So the Targaryens and Jon Snow, are they going to get together? Boy, it seemed like, oh no, he stabbed her. Spoilers, by the way. And then they send Jon Snow back to the ice wall, like the White Watch again. I'm like, wait, or the Night Watch. Wait, what? But that's what that show does. And if you accept that, then it was actually kind of cool. They just kind of said, it wasn't the ending that you wanted. It was the ending that you got. Yeah. And boy, a lot of people were mad. Yep.
Oh yeah. I was mad. But I totally get, Andor slow burn. I totally get it while you check it out. But it rewards the audience for its patience by the end. So
okay, well maybe I'll give it a shot then. If you say so, I'll give it a shot.
If you're bored, you got nothing else to watch. Amelia says, love this movie.
Hey Amelia. And happy birthday to her.
supporters here, man, from
Yeah.
Record.
Well,
That's
that
what's
sounds
up.
pretty good. Yeah.
How you said it was her birthday? Is that what you said?
Amelia, we just celebrated her birthday here last week.
Well, happy birthday, Amelia.
She's 27 again.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I'm sure she looks fantastic. A lot better than me.
Yes.
I'm looking like I'm 80 years old.
You know, when I grew out,
man.
grew out a beard like 3 years ago. I used to wear a goatee like yourself, and I grew it out, but it's all gray like yours now. I'm like, well, do I do it? Do I rock the gray? The gray hasn't snuck up here yet. If I get a high and tight haircut, you can't see it, but it'll eventually make its way up here.
I could see for Record 2, you start the movie with facial hair because some time has passed, and then you shave it. You know, when you.
I've written Record 2, and I start out incarcerated, but on purpose, because the detective has incarcerated me on purpose so that I can find out information about an inmate. And I start out with a beard, and that was one of the reasons I was like, boy, the beard really makes me look a little older. When I shave, I look a little younger. Now I'm 51 years old, so I'm not a young buck anymore.
Right. But, well, when I fully shaved, I don't look younger. I look like a totally different person. I actually scared my wife. I picked her up from work. I picked her up from work one day and didn't tell her I went completely shaven.
Well, you can't tell her.
I pulled up and she got in the car and turned this way. And she was like, ah. She's like, who are you?
Who are you? What did you do with Tristan?
And then we were goofing around. We were like role playing. She's like, hey, I feel like I'm cheating on my husband with my husband.
It's kind of exciting.
Oh my God. It's fun. It's fun. Anyway. Yeah. Look at this poster, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a poster. And I just talked about this several filmmakers recently that even posters today are so vanilla and generic, man. They're just profile pics of the actors with bland background, title. That's it.
If you have a name actor, which is if you got money, that's what you do because that sells your film. Like take a look at the posters for Angelina Jolie's Salt. It says SALT. It's a picture of Angelina's face.
Right.
That's it. Because that's what sells the movie. What's it about? Who cares? She's in it.
Right.
Tom Cruise, Vanilla Sky is another poster. It's yellow in the background. It's just him like that, But when you have Mission Impossible, 17, whatever the last one was, then you have all the action, but it's still the main guy. Like, actually, I do like that poster. I like Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, all those posts. That's a poster. That's about,
They're almost like paintings in a way. Some
they're beautiful paintings, and they show, like, you can look at it and say, okay, there's Jabba the Hutt, there's Han Solo. You can see everything that's in there, and then Luke Skywalker with his, or no, it was Han Solo aiming right at the screen like that. Yeah. Those are good posters, and I agree. Posters seem to have gotten a little lackluster in recent years. I don't know why, because when you don't know me. So I don't have the budget to have a grandiose opening and hey, come watch this movie. Yeah, it's more word of mouth. So I designed that poster basically, and a guy in France named Arnaud Driot, who did the score, he actually did that. He goes, hey, let me take your idea and make it look a little better. And so he designed that and made it. And I had, I think, orange and green, and he changed it to the kind of maroon and blue. And I like what he did there. Yeah. And so it kind of says everything. If you look in the background, can you see the bad guy Gothard with his iPad behind me? And right underneath the hammer, you see the horde of zombies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My only thing is the girl looking right at the R, Camellia looking right at the R there. But other than that, I mean, I think it's a great poster. I think it works out just fine. I think it's cool. Yeah.
For sure. And shout out to the cast here, man. Everybody did a great job. Carlos Madrid Mora as David Knight did great. You had for all you Monster Squad fans, you had Ryan Lambert, who was hilarious as the minister.
Boy, I got lucky with that one. Ryan Lambert ended up just knowing somebody at the school that I went to film school down at San Francisco School of Digital Filmmaking, which was in the newspaper down there in San Francisco. It's called the Chronicle, and it's in the Chronicle building. Yeah. And Ryan Lambert had walked in to ask somebody a question about something, and Brandon Hamilton, who was helping me make the movie, looked over. He goes, "That's the kid from Monster Squad." I'm like, how would you know that? Just looking at somebody, he just knew. He's like 30 years older, and we went up and talked to him. And I said, hey, if I wrote you a part in this film that I'm making, we were filming the detective talking to the chief.
Yeah.
And so, hey, if Ryan Lambert walks by just randomly, and I walked up and said, hey, I don't know you, but I'm filming a movie right now. And he hadn't done anything since Kids Incorporated, which had Fergie, by the way. I had to look it up. Like, oh man, that was a show. He was the head star on Kids Incorporated after Monster Squad, and I didn't realize that. And I looked at it like, there's Fergalicious right there with him singing. She's 12 years old. He's probably 14 or something. Yeah. And, and I said, I'm going to make I haven't written it yet, but I was making a part with a minister that's really creepy. Would you consider playing the role if I put you in the credits as and Ryan Lambert? And he said, that sounds really good. So I lucked out. I piqued his interest, and he's gone on to make, I think he's more active in films now. He's made a few things, like a couple of films. Last time I talked to him was a year ago, and he couldn't talk. He was on the set of another film. I'm like, great, you're doing it again. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Shout out to him. He was great in the movie, and he was hilarious, man. Like, I was rolling on some of his dialogue. But I love the vigilante, and you start talking about, God, right?
Yeah.
I love how you kept going back to do that later. And the villains kept cutting you off.
And he cuts me off. He's like, I've heard you. Yeah, I've heard your speech before,
That's so funny.
So technically, for reasons I shouldn't mention, Charlie, who's my best friend, Charlie Woods, who played Gothard, wasn't available to do the voiceover. So I did his voiceover. So if you
I was wondering that,
if you noticed that my voice and his voice are kind of the same, well, technically, I'm talking to myself because this is the first time that I'm with him in a scene, and he wasn't there. I couldn't get him. Like, I've got to get this done. What if I just did this myself? So I drank a bunch of coffee. I don't know why I did that, but I drank a bunch of coffee and I yelled and yelled and yelled to make my voice really coarse. And then I tried to talk more like a grovelly, because I'm already talking Batman with my character. Yeah, it's kind of hokey, like Robert Downey Jr. pointed out. It's a little too much, but it's supposed to be.
Right.
And so I had to make him more grovelly and more evil and more lower voice. So I talked as grovelly as I could. I'm talking to myself, and then I took in my audio program, I dropped it like an octave and a half, and that's what you get. You get his voice, but you can kind of tell he's a little too much, and it would have been nice to have had his voice, but maybe there he is. Maybe for the second one, for that scene, Yeah.
No, he was great still, though. I mean, he was still good.
You
can look at it. You can look at it like, in a way, he's kind of like the evil version of your character.
Funny thing you should mention that, because in real life, he's totally the evil version of me. So I've known Charlie since I was 19, and a lot of people described us as you two guys get into a bunch of crazy adventures together, but Charlie's the one who says, I'm gonna go after this thing regardless of consequences, and I'm the one holding on to his shirt like, no, don't go do it, but I'll go with you. And so we would just get into terrible amounts of trouble together, and we still do. And the cool thing about using Charlie is, now imagine Rocky IV is a reference that I like to bring up, a great movie, Rocky IV. Ivan Drago versus Rocky. Now, the reason why it's so important that Rocky wins in the end is because Rocky's so much smaller because Rocky's big. I mean, Stallone's not a very super tall guy, but he's big. You wouldn't want to fuck with him in real life. Mm-hmm. But then Ivan Drago, oh my God, like 6'5" of Dolph Lundgren, who's a real, European champion. Like he's the real deal. Oh, yeah. So Rocky has to climb the hill and be, the bigger opponent. I'm 6'3", about 230, 235. There's not a lot of guys that I know that are bigger than me. So like when I battle this guy who's missing an eye, who's got this big weapon that, by the way, looks like balls and a penis. It was, I don't know if you picked up on that.
I think I missed that one.
Especially
rewatch. Gotta rewatch.
My friend. And so he's about 6'1". So I took my shoes off. And I found these Kiss Army boots. Remember Kiss Army boots in the 70s, early 80s? It was about 6 inches of fluff. Yeah. And so I found Kiss Army boots that were size 12. I'm like, my God, they would fit Leo. So he's in these boots to look bigger. I took my shoes off. So just no reason. I've just got no shoes in that scene to make myself smaller, because if I'm bigger, beating up on the bad guy, that doesn't make any sense. I've got to be smaller.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have to do anything in Charlie's case. Charlie's 6'6". So all Charlie had to do was just stand up.
Right.
So you say, okay, perfect. You're my Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah. When he showed up and you guys were brawling, I was like, whoa, that guy's huge.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he threw me through a wall pretty good. I told him like go for it. Like just go balls out, throw me to the wall.
Man, you
And
really took some bumps, man.
Yeah. If you in the scene with the guy with the circular saw, you can see when I get thrown down, right when that guy throws me down on the ground and I roll over to grab the 2 wrenches from my case. If you look at my back, I've got all these scars, purple and red, from being thrown down and actually accidentally landing on something. And that scene took 2 days to film. And you can see the like my back looks, it's all marked up, but then in the next scene it's not. Like, well, that's because I got hurt. I just didn't want to tell anybody. As long as we're on that subject. So Charlie threw me through the wall pretty hard. The wall that I hit is a solid cement wall. Later on in the movie, I take the sledgehammer and I hit him right in the face and I knock him back. Now we did that shot 3 times. The first time, now he's got padding and some boxes to land into. The first time he landed perfectly, but it didn't quite look right. So we did it again and he hits and kind of moved the boxes a little bit. The third time worked out pretty good, except his head went through and his head hit the concrete wall. So when he threw himself back, he sloughed down and his eyes kind of went like that. And I said, okay, cut. And I put my hand out to pick him up and say, hey, do you want to do it another time? But he was out cold. And I was like, oh boy. And I pulled him to see the blood down the back of his neck. And I was like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And this is bad. And so I picked him up. He's heavy. These 6'6" guys, they're making them these days. They're really heavy. I picked him up. He's knocked out. And I put him over my shoulder. And I'm carrying him. I've got to get him out of the studio and into the car, get him to the emergency room as fast as I can. And somebody yelled, as I'm going through the doorway, it's about that big, somebody yelled something at me like, hey, make sure to do such and such. And I turned around and his head hit the side of the door and woke him up. He says, wow, what are you doing? Like, I'm taking you to the emergency. Sorry, I hit you in the head. I'm taking you to the emergency room. And he goes, great, you call my wife. So now, if you remember in the movie, he had big black eyes. They're called sclera lenses. So it blacks out your entire eye. Well, I forgot to take them out. Didn't even think of it. And so the ER doctors are looking at him like, your eyes are really dilated. No, hold on, it's a contact. I have to take it out. Anyway, he got about 10 staples in the back of his head. And we ended up using that scene. And, he's got some bragging rights now. He's a tough guy. He's a tough son of a gun. And so, that didn't stop him. He came back and filmed more.
Well, chicks dig scars.
I need some more. Of course, I've got the most beautiful girl here. Would you come and say that?
Yes. Let us see the queen.
Yeah.
Yes. There she is. The queen. Welcome. Let me blow you up there. Hello there, so we can see you a little bit better. Yeah. Thanks for chiming in and joining us for a little bit, giving us some eye candy there. We appreciate that.
Yeah. No, I had met her right
before. You get tired of looking at this ugly mug. You know what I mean? Get tired of this. But yeah, go ahead.
I had met her towards the end of, like, I was done filming. I was doing just adding in the special effects, doing the color, an explosion here or there, and doing audio, and then the film's done. And I had met her right at the very end. God, I gotta get her. I'm gonna marry her soon. I gotta get her in the movie somehow. So in the very end scene that you see that there are 3 triplets in the bad guy, and there's a whole backstory that will go into a sequel behind that. And there's 2 monitors. Now, when we filmed it, the monitors and the bad guys right in between, the monitors were just, the cameras are off. And so you've got a face here and here, and there's 12 security cameras here and here, focusing on different things. And I had filmed some people working, some people packaging a fake drug, some people imprisoning other people, some people torturing somebody. And I just had some fun putting in all these little things that no one's ever going to see but me, unless you freeze frame and look at it. Well, at the very bottom right. I hadn't put that one in yet. I had an idea. What if I put her on the torture rack? I've got a real actual torture rack that I got from kink.com for $200. They were selling it. And like, ooh, dude, I want a torture rack. So I put her on a torture rack and I said, here, I'll just be off screen like this. You'll just see my arm with a whip and I'll be whipping her in the back. But it would look so sexy if you didn't have a whole lot of clothes on her. She's like, well, is anyone going to see this? I'm like, only 500,000 people. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Like, no one's going to see this. No one. Just make sure your kids don't see it. So I got her in her beautiful bra and panties, and then she's on the ropes, and I'm whipping her, and it's super cheesy. She's going ah. Like God, this is great. Right there. So if you look real quick, you get to see my wife down at the bottom in a security camera getting whipped, and don't tell her kids.
Well, we all approve scenes like that. So when you get the thumbs up, we salute you, sir. We salute you. Thank you for that. Yeah, there's a lot of wonderful cinematography in the film for a little bit for everyone here. And speaking of cinematography, this was the shot that made me go, whoa, I got to check this out. This shot right here, boom. Oh, I was like, holy shit. Number one, this guy's he's the fucking Hulk here. And then look, I mean, this is what it's all about. This is what genre films are all about. Look at this. You got our hero there who looks like he just stepped right out of a graphic novel. And look at everybody in the background. Look at all the extras with pistols and guns. Look at the graffiti. Look at the lighting. Just that one shot, dude. I was sold. I was like, I gotta watch this movie.
Yeah, so I built that whole set in there, and then I was spray painting graffiti, and then I ended up, I was in San Francisco when I saw guys spray painting graffiti, and I rolled down the window like, hey, if I bought you guys unlimited beer, would you come up to Santa Rosa to my studio and cover the place? Like, do whatever you want. And the guy's like, what? When? I go, now. So I got 3 guys that I didn't know. Yeah. It only cost me like 36 beers. And they said, okay, we went this color and this color and this color. And I went to the paint store. I'm like, go crazy. And they got drunk. And then they did a whole layer around the room. The room is huge. 16-foot ceilings, 1,700 square feet is my studio. And then they did another layer over it. And I was like, hey, this looks great. And they go, no, we're not done. Then another layer over that. It goes on to the left and the right and above that you can't see from that picture. And then all the bars there on the left side. See, I built all that in the stage. And underneath the stage are 44 tires that I got donated from Adam's Tire here in town. Because I thought with me and Leo, we're both, 220, 230. And then there's other people up there dancing around. If this thing structurally fails, because I built it to fall, because it eventually falls, then you just pull the tires out. So I got all the tires, loaded them up all by myself in my truck, I think 12 or 15 at a time, and brought them down 90 minutes down, unloaded them 90 minutes back up. And then I had to take them all back 44. And so if we fell, we'd only fall about this far, and we would bounce on the top of the tires, and then we'd be able to continue filming. So that's what's underneath that thing. I wanted to, safety first, except for Charlie. I can knock him out.
Exactly. Have you always been a pro wrestling fan? Was that a
God.
Because I actually, was it yesterday? I've been doing so many interviews. I'm like losing track of time. Yeah. I just recently. Oh, it was earlier this week. I interviewed WWE pro wrestler turned actor filmmaker now, Leroy Kincaid. Yeah. So it was fun having him. He's just now starting out. Check out Ascendance. Check out Ascendance. Is his film. That's his movie. His short film he did on YouTube. You can watch it for free.
So for me, that all started with Rocky 3. I didn't know who Mr. T was. I didn't know who Thunderlips was, who was Hulk Hogan. But when Thunderlips came out, screw Mr. T. I loved Mr. T. But then I saw him come out. That's my favorite part of that fight.
So good.
And you can see elements of that in what I filmed.
Right.
If you combine the Hulk Hogan fighting Rocky with Escape from New York, that was Ox, that big 6'8" guy that Kurt Russell fights. So like you can see the similarities in that. That was a 22 by 22 platform that was up about 3.5 feet, just like I built, and they had fire coming out of the top of the poles. So I exchanged that. I got that idea from Escape from New York. Nice. Wonderful movie, John Carpenter, 1981. A huge influence on me. So I said, what can I make? What's hotter than the fire coming out? What could I do? What if I put 4 beautiful strippers on the poles? So I made the poles 50 millimeter. That's what a stripper pole is. And so I designed that to put the girls up there on it.
That's right.
So, whole nother tangent story, but in that scene where the camera pans down from the roof and then we come in and we first see that room and the girls are on the poles, none of those girls were there. None of the people on the right or on the left were there. By that time, people had been there too long. People don't know when you're making a film, like, hey, it takes a long time to get the shot right.
Right.
And so I started out with 34 extras around, and three of the 4 girls showed up. I'm like, all right, we'll put the girls here, and they did their thing. And then I turned around, and 22 people were gone. We had 12. So I had the green screen in individually. Those girls, that's all green screened in. That's all just
no way. Wow.
If you look really closely, I am in the audience, turned away, dressed up differently, cheering like that. I'm all over the right, I'm all over the left, and I'm the main star coming in the middle of the shot. So sometimes that happens. You turn around when my audience is gone. And I did, I'm chained up with a dog collar. I've got Jennifer and Kelly pulling me, these 2 twins pulling me with a chain. There's other stuff is on my mind. Right. And when somebody says, hey, I'm leaving. Oh, well, that person's my ride. Oh, well, that person's my ride. And all of a sudden, like in a couple minutes, you lost 2/3 of your crowd. Like, oh no, what am I going to do? Well, special effects. That's what. So I green screened in the crowd. You'd never notice though, would you?
No, never noticed. That was impressive, man.
Yeah.
Wow, check that out.
Yeah.
Well, I now know that we're brothers, not just because we have similar tastes in movies, pro wrestling, all that stuff. But let's represent the Star Wars figures in the background there. That's right.
Oh,
that's right. That's why we're brothers. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got Chewie.
So here's my 16-inch Chewie.
Yeah.
Right, which is a little bit bigger than my Rancor monster.
I love it. Love it.
Unfortunately, no, I had the entire, I'm sure if you're a Star Wars fan, you probably have the same thing. The cards, remember the cards? You got the bubble gum. And if you got all of the cards, you could turn them all upside down and make a larger big picture. That was Chewie 3CPO. Remember that?
Yeah.
So my whole collection ended up getting flooded and watered out with my dad's cards. And you know what else I had? I had Mork and Mindy cards. I didn't even know. I remember Mom got me Mork and Mindy cards. Yeah. And I thought, what the hell is this? Because back then Robin Williams was brand new. Nobody knew who he was.
Yeah.
If I had those now, I bet you they'd probably be worth a pretty penny, I would imagine.
Probably, for sure.
Because who knew where he was going to go?
Cheers.
Oh, yeah, I'll drink to that.
Cheers to the Queen. But yeah, same taste in movies. And got the figures. But as soon as you said Rocky 3, that's my favorite Rocky movie.
Is it your favorite?
I love all of them. I love 4 so much. But my personal favorite is the third one. But I mean, come on, Thunderlips, man. Thunderlips is here in the flesh, baby. Yeah. The ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball. All day, man. I can watch the movie every day. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great.
Let's have some fun here. Let's get to watching some actual footage of the movie. Let's show the trailer. Oh, look at this. He's jumping the gun. He's beating us to the punch. Just watch the trailer. This looks awesome. All right. So let's have
wonderful.
Some fun.
Thank you. Yeah.
And let's bring up the trailer of Wrecker, and then we'll watch it again and get some more wonderful BTS from both of you. And here we go, baby. Wrecker. Let's do it.
In a city plagued with crime, a determined cop and a man pushed to the edge uncover a sinister plot and must join forces to battle an unspeakable evil.
You want me to investigate zombies, for God's sake?
We got a show for you!
Lights out, motherfucker.
Yeah. Lights out, motherfucker. Yeah, baby. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Love it, man. You love it. And you know, when I got done watching it, I was like, see, this is how it should be done. This is what indie films are all about. You know, I'm getting the satisfaction and the entertainment that I'm not getting from a lot of big budget AAA movies recently.
Because they play it safe too much.
Exactly. But yeah, man, there you go. It's so beautiful. I'm crying. But yeah, so good. It scratches the itch, baby. Hey, scratches the itch. Right.
Yeah.
Take a look at it one more time, and then do a little behind the scenes.
But before I leave, I have to
itch real
say,
quick. I'm gonna scratch my
it has
itch.
been amazing to see this guy so committed, so determined, and who invested in this project. And I'm so happy to see the appreciation that the audience are having. And so honored to be in your show. Thank you very much. I have to leave, but what an honor to be here with you guys. And thank you for support this guy, because he's really, really a him in every single way, not just as a director, as a human being. Yeah, thank you very much.
A gem.
A gem.
A gem.
He's a ham too. He's a
Also
ham. I'm a ham. Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you for popping in and saying hello to the audience and hanging out with me. I appreciate it. You're always welcome. Oh, look at that.
Fun.
Yeah, badassity and love. Oh my goodness, this is so much fun. But yeah, let's take a look at the trailer again, man.
Yeah, please.
Breakdown here.
Okay, you're gonna have to stop it right at the start here, right?
Yeah.
When we see
I can't believe that. This
right there, a little bit more. There you go. All right.
How is this green screen? I never.
So now, if you right where you're at right there with your cursor. So see, that's really hard right there, because that's Artemis A. Strick. That's my ex-girlfriend who does an aerobic stripper pole class.
Yeah.
If to make it look real, like she's really there, see her hair, see how the yellow. That's just a caution tie strap from my truck.
Okay.
3 of those. But see, I have to go frame by frame and cut her hair out so it looks like that's before her and not behind her. And then the other 2 girls, they're green screened as well. The one on the right, you've got that big yellow light, which I didn't have on her green screener. So I had to go and add the yellow to all of her flesh tone there to make her look like she's under the light. There's a lot of work here. Down lower on the right, over here, see the guy with his hands up, the very right person. That one right there, that's Carlos, the detective. In front of him is, I think, me. I think there's left is me as well. Over on the left side, that is, I think it's me and me again, and then another kid. So the only
it works
are because you don't see it very quickly, do you? You come in and then the shot punches forward. I think the whole shot's about 12 seconds, but in the trailer you only get about 4 seconds of it.
Right.
So the people in the ring are really there. The guys in the middle of the screen with their hands up are really there. And then I'm down there too, really there in the middle. And then I had to add all these other people. If you look to the right, see how you can tell they're not real if you look. There's no shadow.
If you really
I did add a shadow to it on the floor, but it was so much work to get this to work.
Yeah.
Because all these people had taken off. Well, what do you do? Right. Well, I got to do something. So I just I relied on time and effort.
Hey, it's still impressive, brother.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, yeah. Now this the cop here, played by our boy here,
Carlos Madrid Mora.
Yeah, shout out again to him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest, brother. The character throughout the movie was driving me insane. I had an inkling that the character arc for him was coming, like it was coming soon, and not to spoil anything because everybody watching, I want you guys to watch the movie, but it was so satisfying. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, well, I can take it a bit farther in that because he kept Now we didn't film everything chronologically, but we did finally film the ending in the end of the production. And he kept saying, "Hey, I want to do more." I'm like, "Well, you read the script, right?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, the whole point is subversion of what the audience expects, right? And so you think that I'm going to take on this whole huge thing. Well, in the end, I do. I take on the big bad guy.
Right.
But we keep cluing in this horde. There's this thing. There's this horde. There's this horde. Well, then we find the horde as well. I said, "Don't worry, Carlos. You're going to fumble through the entire film because you're biting your finger." This is something I do. I bite my fingers. And then when I was loading the gun with blanks, which we ended up using because it was very loud, even with half blanks, sometimes the camera wouldn't pick up the flare. And I got good at special effects. Like, we don't actually need to do that. But I couldn't push it in because I was biting my nails so much subliminally, and I couldn't push it. It hurts, man. It hurts. That's a great idea. Wait a sec. I'll give that to the other character because how is he going to, he's a gun expert. He's basically your man with no name. Like, everything he shoots, he hits.
Yeah.
Like Clint Eastwood, that's kind of his character. Everything he shoots, he hits. But I got to keep him away from guns for the whole movie until the end. Then you get the satisfying ultimate gun.
Yeah. And earlier in the movie, you kind of set up a little bit, a hint that when he has the beef with the captain, he's like, "You're always at the gun range."
Yeah.
You're always over there. So
always
like,
at the gun range. And what's he
there.
doing? What's he doing when they're talking? He's biting his nails. He's always biting his nails. So we had filmed a version where he had bandages on his fingers and then there was blood on the end. So it was a little too unrealistic because who's going to bite bloody fingers? Like, well, let's just go back to this, and then he keeps getting his right hand smashed.
Right.
Car trunk, the Pelican case that keeps smashing his hand. There's a reason, because I don't want him to have a gun just yet.
Yeah. Right.
Then there's the very satisfying ending where he gets the ultimate gun. It's like the video game where you're like, wait a sec, now he's got that.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
Obviously from the Predator, Jesse Ventura. That's where I got that idea. So I had that gun made by a guy named Mr. Minigun online. And I said, "Hey, can you make something like this?" And he made it by turning a drill upside down. Nice. So you fire, and then the drill comes out, and it goes round and round and round. And then I digitally added all of the flare and all of the bullet shells coming out. I added those one by one, and there's 1,000. There's a lot of them, but I had 9 years to make the movie. So
Predator poster right there, baby.
Yeah.
Gotta represent. But this scene, oh my God, bro. I was dying.
All right. So
I was dying.
I bought the most powerful BB gun in the world. The idea was to shoot at an angle, the BB gun. Now that's originally the mirror in the background is when I jump out of the way and there's a guy with an Uzi, Leo Stewart, is shooting at me. And so while he's shooting blanks, this is back when we were actually doing blanks. Yeah. Making a huge sound, by the way. And the cops came like, oh God. So, we had to shoot it again. And so I turned on an air compressor. So making all that noise. Then he shot the Uzi again, and the cops came back. And I said, "I think some kids are practicing Chinese New Year fireworks down there. I think that's what it is." And I'm like, "All right, let's stop using the blanks, and I'm just going to fire. Just go ahead and press the trigger, and I'm going to add it later digitally." Yeah, which is what I did. But I was going to break the mirror with the BB gun, the pellet gun. And all it did was shoot pellets that zinged up here and zinged up there. It was super dangerous. I'm like, oh God, what am I going to do? So I just came in and I smashed it with a hammer. And then I walked out of the way just while we're filming. Then I went back in, smashed with a hammer, walked out, went back in. And then I edited myself out so that it was like that. I was like, it's just a little cheap, cheesy way that I accomplished what I wanted to do. And in the reflection in the mirror, I held your attention by putting the plumage from the flares from the gun. Right. And then he stands up, ready to go. He finally has a gun. Oh, but the fight's over.
I was dying. When you walked in, I was already enjoying the movie. But I think when you walked in, assuming, this is a minor spoiler, it's okay. When you walk in assuming that there wasn't that many bad guys in there. Yeah. And you go in there and your face expressions, your reaction, I was like, oh, I am in I am in even more now with this movie. This is hilarious.
So that's
And
one of those
you
things where
throwing the tools. That was the scene where I thought I woke up my wife. She was asleep. That was the scene when you were throwing your tools. I was dying, man.
Well, yeah,
Oh.
throwing the guns and throwing the tools. So
Yeah.
so I just had some fun.
Oh, my
Scenes
God.
like that where when I walk in and then I hear the whip sound and I go, and that's just me. There's nobody else in the studio. I filmed that myself. I set up the lights and I filmed myself over and over. And I filmed serious ones, I filmed comedic ones, and I filmed a super goofy one. And when I looked at it, I'm like, God, I'm going to use the super goofy one because it makes me laugh and it's going to make everybody else laugh too.
Yeah.
And I knew the guy with the whip. Incidentally, the guy with the whip, it has the Guinness Book of World Records for catching arrows blindfolded. If you can believe that. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Goodness. Wow.
Yeah, Tyler Burke.
He's a ninja.
So he also what he does, he lights that whip on fire, and so we were going to do that. And when he whips it, sometimes the fire would go out. I'm like, well, if he lights it on fire and he whips it, because I'm going to catch it and pull him over for my Indiana Jones Temple of Doom moment where I wrap it around his neck. And by the way, if you watch the film and you say, hey, this guy just copied a bunch of other movies, that's the whole point. It's when I was younger, I watched Tarantino in an interview. It might have been a documentary where he said there's not 1 second of one movie that I have created that I didn't flat out copy from something else that I found influential when I was younger. So hearing that guy say that, I'm like, okay. And like, even I remember watching, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, what was that, 1980? When I was a kid, and the most famous scene is that big round ball chasing after Indiana Jones, and he barely makes it out. Well, then I remember watching on TV, my dad's favorite movie was Journey to the Center of the Earth, old black and white movie, where there was a guy that was a professor of history, and he heard that there was this thing and went down to the center of the earth and whatever, so he took his crew down there. Well, there was a bad guy that was following him, and they go down through the caves. And the bad guy has this big, he's unlodging something and he's trying to kill the good guy. And he launches this big, huge boulder. And the good guy jumps in a hole and the boulder goes over him. Like, wait a sec. This is like 1956 or something. Wouldn't Spielberg and George Lucas, who combined to make Indiana Jones, right? Would have been kids. I'm looking at the inspiration for that scene right now. Now, nobody's going to come out and say it, but blatantly, it was my dad's favorite movie when he was a kid. Yeah, he was the same age as them. That's where they got the idea. I don't feel bad anymore. I'm going to say that if you see something that is like something from another movie, I blatantly put it in to remind you that, yes, I am paying homage to these wonderful, beautiful movies that were influences to me and so many other millions of people influenced by these movies. I'm going to put it in my movie to say thank you.
Yeah. No, well said. And I think even the amazing stunt underneath the truck. Where
what was that from?
That stunt was from an older movie too, as well.
Probably. Oh, you know what? You're right. Actually, I know what it is. It's from not.
I don't know if it was a cereal or what. I don't know.
No, it was. I saw it. It's the name of the train. It's an old black and white. It's a silent movie, and he goes underneath the train. Yeah, and then comes out on the other side. It's not Harold Lloyd, but Buster Keaton. It's a Buster Keaton. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the best borrow from the best. It's okay.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
Why not? But man, Jesus Christ, brother, you're just huge.
If
there's any recasting for Jack Reacher, you have my vote.
I don't think I can compare with Alan Richardson.
Oh, look at you showing off there a little bit.
Yeah.
Got the tools on. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, just having a little bit of fun there. That's when my back was.
What's all about? Is it that's when your back was killing you?
Yeah. So this is when I actually this is what's left of the crowd behind me. So I said, everybody come in together so you look like there's a crowd, and there's maybe 12 people or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I say, I had 34 that it diminished real fast. What's there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 12. That's the beautiful Yulia Kotopsky model behind Charlie. Right? Oh, and incidentally, back there, just a little bit back, see the artwork in the background. So the bad guy with the tool, Leo Stewart, who's missing the eye, just like he's missing the eye in the ring. He made that. He's an artist, and he made that's carved out of wood with plastic behind it. And then we just put a blue light on the front and the pink light in the back, and all of a sudden you've got this beautiful backlight.
Yeah, I was going to mention it earlier. The lighting throughout this entire
The-
movie
the-
is so
the cool-
good, man.
Thank you. That was where Brandon Hamilton really came in. He was a teacher at the film school, and he said, "Hey, let's combine." You know, I think I was one of his favorite students. Let's combine together and let's join our efforts. And he really added. You know, I can supply stuff like the artwork, but he would put the lights up. Like now, it looks like a movie. Now you got it. You know.
Well, shout out to Brandon. Shout out. To
Yeah. Shout out to. Hopefully, he's watching today.
Yeah. But speaking of, you know, going back to wonderful cinematography.
Yes.
the fight scene in the strip club, man, that was busting me up too. But I think it's who played the nightclub Madame, Ashley.
Ashley, yes.
Yeah.
No, she's changed. She's got married. She's changed names now, and I actually don't know what her last name is. She came up to me when I graduated film school. I made a movie that's very similar to this one with some of the same actors. They had car crashes and stuff, and you're not supposed to do that in a student movie. And so there were 10 films that they showed. They're all shorts. Mine was 29 minutes, and mine was the 5th one. And when they showed mine, when you just give you an idea, when you graduate film school, usually the movies that everybody's making are 2 people in a room talking about something stupid, and that's your whole film. And I had machete fights. I picked a guy, the detective Carlos. I picked him up and threw him through my window in my truck.
It's fun.
I got branded. We had a bunch of fun, and the audience was like, "What the hell is this? This isn't a student movie." And so when they showed the credits of mine, everybody stood up and cheered and made a huge, big boom, boom, boom. And so they turned on the lights, and they ended up having a little recess because everybody went crazy for my film. Ashley had been in another student film trying to get noticed, and she walks up to me. She goes, "Hi, I'm a martial artist, and whatever you're doing next, I want a part." And she gave me her card and then a YouTube video of her doing crazy stuff, jumping up all down. She had like a spear. So in one scene, she's got a spear with me, and she's jabbing at me. Well, I mean, if you saw what she had given me, it's very professional. That girl's very, very good. She's gone on to be in some martial arts movies. I'd have to look them up and get them to you later.
Nice.
But she's gone on to have a bit of success in the martial arts film world. And the girls, incidentally, I was at Burning Man, and there was this big car called a Braxis. It's a dragon. In the back, it had this stripper pole in the back. And there was a girl going up and down the pole, and I was dating a pole performing, not a stripper, but an aerobic pole performer. She did a fitness class named Artemis, and she said that it ended up being the girl that was on the pole at Burning Man makes the instructional DVDs that my girlfriend at the time had learned on. I'm like, wait, you're Flying Laura. You're Flying Laura Martin. That's her nickname, Flying Laura, who just happens to have won the 2012 best stripper pole performer in America. So like of all the pole performers, she was the best one in the United States. She went on to go to an international competition where she did not play top 3, but my God, she's good. What I noticed about her was she went up and down the pole without using her hands. She used her jaw, her armpit, her thighs, her rib bone, if you can imagine that, by grabbing her leg. She was showing me later, like, this is what stands me out apart from everybody else. I don't use my hands. And I said, my God, I'm making this movie. Would you be a part of it? She said, yeah. And she was a link to Diana Diaz, who's the other girl. She was a Cirque du Soleil performer at the time that did a performance on a pole. So I had these 2 people. I filmed this in my house. I set up the poles in my house, and then another pole scene at an actual a dance club down the street. Yeah. And so these 2 girls get up, and I didn't really have to do anything. I just sat back and said, "Hey, do what you do." And you know, if you look at what they do, they're very good. Yeah. Beautiful, very kind girl. Really nice to work with people like that. And I just met them on a whim. Hey, you want to be in a movie? Yeah, sure.
That's right. They're professionals. That's right.
They're professionals.
Professionals at their craft.
Yes.
That's right. And we appreciate that. But I'm just, you beat me to the punch. Like with Ashley, as soon as she started moving, I was like, oh, she knows some shit.
Yeah, like she knows some stuff.
With the sword and the spear, I was like, whoa, she knows some wushu there.
Yeah,
so
she's very good. And I just kind of met people along the line. Now, another one with Ashley was Marco, another friend who I didn't even know, has his own fighting style. And then I met George King. That's the guy with the machetes. George King has his own fighting studio here with his own fighting style. And then there's another girl, Laura, who comes out. She has her own fighting style called Crazy Monkey Girl, Crazy Monkey Woman. And like these people, like the people that are fighting, like actual fighters in the movie, could all kick my ass easily. Like they're very good at what they do.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of fun to get these people together so they can meet each other and like, hey, you guys are all basically going to beat me up in this film.
And they were like, yes, this is going to be fun.
Like, yeah, I really want to beat this guy up. I've always wanted to.
Any fans of John Woo films? Do you have any favorite John Woo films?
Yeah, so my favorite John Woo film is not, unfortunately, it's not the one. Blackjack sucked. When I found out Dolph Lundgren was going to be in a John Woo film, I was like, yes, I've always been a Dolph Lundgren fan. Yeah. And it just wasn't very good. But you're going to have to help me with it. But my favorite John Woo film,
I'm going to guess.
Everybody's going to say Face Off. My favorite was the bad guy was Tequila, or was it the good guy? And in the end, he jumps out and he saves the baby. It's
Hard-boiled.
Hard-boiled. Thank you. It's been a while since I've seen it. But now you're reading subtitles and all that, but my God, wow. Like visually is beautiful. And the character development in that is wonderful. I mean, I could go as far as to say, Van Damme and John Woo got together for Hard Target. I love Hard Target. It's a little cheesy, but I love how when they introduce Van Damme, he's got the mullet, but it works somehow with him. And the other guys have the weapons, and he flips his coat to the side. His weapon is his leg.
Yeah, so good. And they kind of had that little Western vibe soundtrack.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, like there's so many movies we could talk about that have influenced me, and obviously you've had the same influence on it. But so, what's your John Woo film?
It's hard boiled. It's hard boiled, easy.
Okay, well, good.
But I love The Killer or Better Tomorrow. There's so many.
Killer's good, yeah.
Yeah, there's so many. Yeah.
There's always the key white doves in the background. I'm trying to think of what's he done recently.
Have you seen? Not to be confused with the Stallone movie. It's a little different, but Bullet in the Head.
Yes,
that's so good. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that soon here on the channel. Yeah. Very soon, but yeah, that's another.
Is that the Stallone film with Aquaman?
That's Bullet to the Head.
Bullet to the Head.
No, yeah. People get confused with those titles, but Bullet in the Head is good, man. Yeah, that's a good one. If you haven't seen that one, that's a good one.
I'm sure I've seen it. I just can't. It remind me maybe briefly what happens.
Kind of around the Vietnam era.
Yeah.
And
actually, I can't think of it now.
Yeah, I'll send you a trailer later. We'll talk.
Okay, good. Thank you.
But it's intense, man. You're gonna like that one for sure. But yeah, enjoyed this guy. You got to have the captain yelling and pissed off.
I'm telling you, this guy Dwayne Lawrence came into audition. He'd never been in a film before. He was a baritone singer in a band, and what a booming voice! Beautiful voice. He came in and he had his lines memorized perfectly for never acting before. Came in, belted his lines out, perfect. Every single time, like, hey, can we take another take? He goes, yes, we can. Boom. Beautiful voice of it. He has a beautiful presence. The only thing that he didn't like was one of his lines was, in my many, many years on the force. And I was like, well, what's wrong with that line? He goes, I'm not that old, Bryan. Okay, all right, I get you. Yeah, I mean, okay, well, okay. Here's something interesting that your fans might like. Go back to Carlos's face.
Okay.
Now, hold that up if you could next to a picture of the end of Lethal Weapon. What we did is to pay homage to Lethal Weapon. It's the exact same scars that Mel Gibson has when he rings the doorbell in the very end of Lethal Weapon. And if you look behind on the right side of the chief, there is a target, the black, it's a black figurine of a man with a target, and the eyes and the nose and a smiley face. Remember in Lethal Weapon when he's such a good shot that he
yeah.
So that's hanging up on the wall. So little homages to the films that made me who I am today.
There you go. So Wrecker is not only amazing, hilarious, and badass, but it's rewatchable because you're going to find all kinds of Easter eggs and stuff, man.
It's kind of the whole point. Yeah, the Easter eggs. There's a lot of them.
Now, we talked about action a little bit. Some of your favorite action movies. You already named them off. Horror movies. Some of your favorite
horror movies. Would you call Terminator a horror movie? Because when I saw it, I was so young. Schwarzenegger, I loved him, but he scared the piss out of me.
You can,
and like,
you can,
I mean,
yeah.
okay, so
Action horror,
my style, probably the biggest influence on me to make this film would be the third Evil Dead: Army of Darkness. Samurai did a beautiful job with that. It's just cheesy enough where you don't take it too seriously, and that's what kind of works. But it also has a bunch of gore. But every time you get grossed out, you also start laughing again.
Exactly.
And that's, I think it's really important when you make a film, like how many Chinese dubbed martial arts films were just, but the whole damn film is that, well, it kind of gets boring because action, unless it's the Raid, unless like it kind of gets a little boring. You got to switch it up. You have to have something funny happen. You have to have something sad happen. You have to want to pay attention to the characters and actually care for the characters. So you need a development of some sort. So you need to have the sad parts, the happy parts. And Samurai Army did a damn good job of it. Because Evil Dead, the first one off no budget, what a great job.
Yeah.
It's super gross. It's really scary, but it's a comedy. The second one, even more funny. The third one, flat out comedy. And that's what I went for. I went for this, like we had a sold out, 219 people came to the premiere. Some of my friends came in limousines. It was really cool. But to hear, I didn't even really need to watch the movie. I edited the damn thing. I've seen it over 1,000 times. So I just kind of watched the audience. And to have the jokes work, that was a big thing. When there's a big gross part where the bad guy gets his arms get ripped off.
That was great.
But then I immediately turn around and I go, gross. And I walk away. Everybody starts laughing. I'm like, it's working. It's working.
Yeah, I love it. And there you go. Evil Dead 2 poster in the back too.
Evil Dead trilogy. I tell you what, they remade it, and I think it was 2013. Ash, they made Ash a female, which is fine, but they made it without the comedy, and it wasn't successful. And now the Evil Dead Rise. Oh my God! Now they're back, and they did it again. It was really scary, but it had some funny parts here. And I'm like, there you go. But boy, Evil Dead Rise, that was the modern version. Boy, that was great. And Bruce Campbell was in it, but I didn't see him. His name was in the credits. My
Evil Dead Rise?
They snuck him in Evil Dead Rise, and I didn't see him. He's in every single Samurai Army movie. Did you know that? All three of the Spider-Man movies, he's got a cameo. He's in Bonesaw in the first one.
Bonesaw is ready.
Yeah, Bonesaw is ready. Boy, it's too bad that guy had a heart attack, but you could tell it was coming. You could tell it was coming. The way he acted, like you just can't do that to your body.
Yeah, old Randy Savage, another
legend there. Yeah.
But don't forget cameo in Darkman. Bruce Campbell had a cameo in Darkman. Right at the end, he turned around and showed his face because Darkman could do disguises.
Wait, in Darkman, in Liam Neeson, the first one?
Right at the end, he turns around and you see Bruce Campbell, and then he walks to the crowd.
How did I miss that? He was in Escape from L.A., which honestly I wish they didn't make. The first one was so good, but I was like, "Oh, Bruce Campbell, it can't be that bad." I know. What do you think of the show, the Evil Dead versus Ash versus Evil Dead?
I haven't finished the last season, but I've enjoyed the season up to that point.
I like it, other than it concentrates too much on the sub characters, the co-stars. It's a little bit too much on the co-stars, and like, come on, everybody's watching this for Ash. Give us Ash.
Right.
I don't care if he's just him for 60 minutes. That's what I'm there for. Yeah. And they spend a lot of time with the other characters, which to me, they're just not quite as interesting as he is. He does such a great job.
Well, of course. He's the reason. You're right. He's the reason we're watching. I think what's keeping me from rushing to finish the last season is I heard it kind of doesn't end. It kind of like they leave it open.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, oh, because we know we're not going to get another season. So I'm like,
Well, my other film buff friend, which I've mentioned his name a few times, Brandon Hamilton, I thought I was an encyclopedia of movies, but he grew up working at a Blockbuster. So he just knows everything about every movie. I would list something and he would tell me the year, the director, who acted into the producer. I'm like, oh, I was just going to talk about the movie. You know, everything. He would start talking about his knowledge of Evil Dead and Samurai Army and stuff. Like, oh God, it'd be a great guy to actually have sitting next to me right now. Yeah. So incidentally, Brandon, who was my teacher, who's 10 years younger than me, he wanted a role. So I let him write his own part. I originally had a very small part in a dungeon. That was a real dungeon, by the way. It's a blue scene, and I wake up with Madrid, and we're chained to the wall. That was a real dungeon with real chains, real cages. And there was a guy that was already there. There we are. So everything is real. This is a real place where they really torture people.
That's a great shot. That's a great shot.
Good shot. That's actually not in the movie. That's me getting into character before we hit the. As I wish I actually would have put that in the film. But yeah, there's a big part that says action, and then it's me saying it like, okay, I'm ready. Action. So I couldn't put that in. And so what that is holding me. It raises me up. And what you do with that is there's hooks, and the hooks go into your back skin, and they pick you up by your back skin. So I was not going to do that. So I'll just hang on to the thing above the hooks, and it's going to pull me up. But yeah, just interesting story. Sorry, I got off on a tangent there about the dungeon, but
no, we're here for the behind the scenes. So it's it's all good, man. It's all good.
Originally, there was a girl that was going to come in that was going to actually, the girl that uses that a lot was going to hook herself to, there's 8 hooks. They had it in a movie called The Cell with Jennifer Lopez, where the bad guy that was in Silence of the Lambs would do that to himself. He would pull himself up by his backskin, but they didn't really do it. So I was going, in the script, what I had written, because I knew I had access to that, is Madrid and I wake up and we look at each other and we realize we're chained in, and we start talking to each other and we're asking questions, and the questions are being answered, and we look around and we can't see who's answering them. And then eventually the camera would pan up and show that there's the girl horizontally hanging by real hooks, really hanging there, who's looking down at us, answering our questions. Now, she said she had a limit of doing it of about 2 minutes. So we would just film that part. She wouldn't be up there for the whole dialogue, but she ended up not showing up. So I ended up opting, because I didn't want to, I had to show that thing. I ended up just hanging on to it and then pulling myself up. And then I did the rest of my monologue while I was spinning around.
Right. Well, it still worked.
It still worked, but it would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
It might have been too much for people to see, though, because like I say, it would have been real. So maybe if you saw that, you would have been like, maybe I don't want to see stuff like this. But I mean, that's kind of the whole point of making a horror film. You test out what your comfortable zone is, what's your comfort. You know, this is real. Can you handle it? Yeah,
I would have been fine with it. That kind of stuff. That kind of stuff. That's just Tuesday for me. So, but yeah, this whole opening was wild, man. But look at this. This is such a great shot. Look at that shot. My goodness.
The blue shot.
This shot, yeah. Just this shot of terror.
I can't see it.
Good. It might help if I showed what I'm looking at here. Here we go. That.
Oh boy. Okay, here's a little story behind this. So originally I wanted 12 people, 6 on one side, 6 on the other. This is the same room where I fight in the arena with all the spray paint and everything. So now the walls are painted all red.
Okay.
That's a flare. I didn't get that idea from any other idea. I just thought I want to make the room red. So I said, hey, can I get 6 people here and everybody bring a friend, and you're just going to reach your hands in. This scene is paying homage to Beastmaster. When remember, I don't even have to tell you, you know the part, right?
Oh,
everybody reaches out, tries to grab him. Oh, that scared the piss out of me when I was a kid. Incidentally, people say that copied Conan. That came out a year before Conan.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm filming the scene that's after this when Charlie's above me and I put my thumb in his eye. So I wanted to have a really gross part where I stick my thumb in his eye and crush it like a grape, and then it lands on my face. We were filming that. And then Tyrone Hutton, my friend and my AD, comes up. He goes, hey, we got a situation outside. And I was like, well, what? And I'm down with, blood all over my face. I'm like, well, what's the situation? He goes, there's so many cars, people don't know where to park. And I was like, for what? For this? And he goes, yeah. So I took a break, like I said, I'm covered in blood and all the black stuff from his eye down here. I'm in my tank top, and I walked out and everybody's there's all these people in my film studio. I'm like, hey guys, what's going on? And they said, oh, well, you said to bring a friend, and then that brought a friend, and that brought a friend. There was a husband and a wife that brought a child, and I think she was like 6 to be a zombie. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get on the line, order 6 pizzas. I'm going to use every single one of you.
Yeah.
Well, I put the little girl on a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket, so she could reach in. I said, don't grab me, because I'm going to be going backwards. If you grab me, you might hurt your arm. Right. And so I had built that stage like that with the cage, the fencing and all that, just designs just so you could reach in and grab me. We did 6 takes. The main shot was not that shot. The main shot was actually a red camera, really nice red camera that my friend Tyler Burke had. He's got the guy that catches the arrows blindfolded, and it was set up wrong, so I actually couldn't use the shot. But thankfully, Brandon had this shot. Ended up being a great shot. You can't quite see what's going on, but you can see that there's 22 arms on one side and another 22 arms on the other side, which works a lot better than the 6 and 6 thought that I had.
Yeah. So,
and the little girl got to be in it too. That's the beautiful Deborah Jones right there, the Bryan and Billy right there. That was actually filmed in my garage here. The pretty girl that's holding on to the arm there. She's bitten off her own arm.
There they are, right here. Look at them.
That's the Willet Shakespeare Company right there. In my little small town, these guys run an acting show. They help high school kids learn acting.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Brian Arnold and Billy Hetherington, two great guys. That they did that Beastie Boys, where one finishes the other sentence and then they go back and forth, and I thought it worked out just great.
Yeah, they were great. But the daggers on the mic.
It's you know what's gonna happen.
But the way you did it was so funny, man. Like the way you did it, you're just standing there.
I mean, I telegraphed it out. You got anything else to say? Yeah, give me one of those microphones. Yeah.
So funny. Oh, man. But yeah, there we go with some stunts. And that's you crashing it. That's you crashing it?
That's me crashing my Jaguar. So my Jaguar stopped working. It was gonna I don't know cars like other guys do, but something was wrong with it. It was gonna cost more to fix it than it was just to get rid of it. So I was like, you know what? I was going to bash the thing, and then I donated it to the local car lot. Now that's my truck. I still have that truck, and these awesome people here in town in Willits called Norcrawl made that bumper. If you look real close in front of my headlight there, you'll see a steel bumper that's attached to my frame that sticks out 2 inches closer to the Jaguar than it does on the bottom. And they designed it. These guys made it for free just to be in the movie. Super nice guys. So I wouldn't hurt my truck for one thing, but it's designed to pick the car up and move it. Now, the Jaguar is on 4 high school trays. Remember the trays that you have at lunchtime?
Yeah.
I rolled it onto 4 trays. Underneath the trays of each tire, I put vegetable oil down. You can actually see it around there. A bunch of vegetable oil because I wanted to make damn sure I didn't get hurt when I hit this car. Right. I wanted that car to spin off into the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Because I'm hitting a car sideways, and I hit it at 47 miles an hour. So that was the fastest. If you look in the car, I've got a dummy where my actor Tyrone Hutton was, and next to me, because I didn't want Carlos next to me in the truck right there. That's also another dummy. So I didn't want I didn't want to hurt anybody. Like I don't know if I'm going to get hurt. This is a minor car crash here, and I'm hitting a car. I'm T-boning a car. There's a good chance that my head's going to go forward. I'm going to get whiplash or something. But that's when I found out. Like, hit the gas. Don't hit the brake at the last second. You kind of do that. Like, no, hit the gas, because then you push all the way through.
Yeah.
And here's Marco. Those are real nunchucks that he's got.
Yeah. Going to town.
And the guy with the machetes, which you can't see in the scene, that's his George King Customs. That's his motorcycle shop. He makes custom motorcycles.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got to ask him to make you a Predator motorcycle.
Oh man, that'd be super cool. Yeah, he makes really cool stuff with little lights on the ground and everything. So this was particularly hard. This is the one that I got the quote for $5,000 for. So what I found out, I just taught myself how to do it.
Okay.
So once I had the explosions, now the Pelican case, there's only one Pelican case in the room. You'll see 2 of them upper left. You'll see 2 of them to the right. And before the explosions, there's several more. There's one Pelican case that I found at a thrift shop, and a Pelican case is if you don't know what that is, it's an old military case. It's a big case that you put in something super valuable in, and then like usually rockets for the military or something. You see them on cargoes for military. Somebody had one, so I got one, and so I went frame by frame and traced out Carlos Madrid Mora. If you look, I traced him out, set him aside, put the explosions in. and then came back and then put him again over and then blurred out the edges so it looks like he's in front of the explosions. And I looked at it over and over like, God, it still just doesn't work. What's wrong with it? And to make something realistic, you've got to have the glow hitting the wall, hitting the floor, hitting his back, hitting the door on the left. Oh, it took a long, long time to get this to where it looked passable.
Right,
it might not be super passable. One of the comments says, hey, these are cheesy special effects. I'm like, hey, man, I'm trying. I'm doing this all by myself.
Yeah.
So, so once I got that down, I think it took me 43 days. I worked on this every day, 43 days. There's a whole bunch of versions of this that didn't work. And this is the one that did. So if you can imagine, none of this stuff is there. None of the Pelican cases, none of the explosions, but I'm there. You can't see me. I'm on the left. See there's a door that's open right there, and there's orange towards the top. You see an orange glow. So when Carlos runs by, I hit him with an orange light so that there's orange on his face, because I knew I was going to do this. I just didn't know how at the time. So I filmed it. So hit slow motion, and my friend Peter Rippon's running backwards with a steady cam, filming it. And I'm sitting to the side. I flash an orange light on his body, and I hit him with a leaf blower. So his hair and his coat flash to one side like that.
Nice.
And as he runs down farther, which I don't think I have the second one in this trailer, there's a second blowout that happens. So I had to run down to another orange light, turn the other orange light on, and hit him with a leaf blower in the face again. We did it over and over and over again. I think it was 16, 18 takes, and finally got it to where I was like, okay, now I just have to learn how to put the explosions in and the embers and stuff. But it works. It works. Like I knew I could do it. It was just going to come down to time and effort. And that's where I don't see that's being put into a lot of the Disney productions and stuff. It's like, hey, let's just crank something out. No, put in the time and the effort, and the audience will see it and appreciate it. That's my motto.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Tyrone says, even if I was in the car, you still would have had a dummy in there.
So there's Tyrone. So I got to apologize to Tyrone. He took a little bit of offense. Now the dummies, I had two dummies. They look pretty realistic, but I was taking a Sharpie and I was coloring one brown, and he goes, hey, what are you doing? I said, well, my AD also played that part. I said, well, you're brown. Your skin's brown. I'm just making the dummy look like you. I can't have a white dummy in there and have Tyrone. Like if anybody looked in the car, it wouldn't look right. He said, hey, that's prejudice, man. I said, oh, come on.
Well, shout out to Tyrone.
Shout out to Tyrone. He did a great job.
Thanks for watching, brother, and hanging out with us. We appreciate that, man. But yeah, let's keep it going here. There we go. Saw blades. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that weapon was a fun thing. So that weapon there with the saw blades, those are real saw blades. And what he would do is
real.
Yeah, so they spin around. They're real. They're big tree blades.
Oh my goodness!
And so there's two on the right side, one on the left. If you look at it alone, it's supposed to be a dick and two balls. It's just a joke, but it's real. Like it's heavy.
Yeah.
And Leo Stewart there, that's real armor that he's wearing that I got from a LARP store.
I love the makeup. I love the makeup.
Peter Rippon did a great job, for his first movie he'd worked on. Just a friend of mine he just in a side thing that he did makeup, and he did a great job. Now I've gone and digitally taken the eye out because you could see with the light that's on him. He's got a heavy light on him, so that we could get the contrast of the black. But then you could see that his eye is actually covered. So I digitally took his eye out, so you just see nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, but so the weapon there, when it was spinning around, he would kind of go towards me with it like this, or he would kind of go towards me like that, and I would just get a little bit closer and a little bit closer. So the weapon's getting here, and then here it's a little bit more comfortable. And then I had turned around to say, okay, on the next one, we're going to go live. But he had taken another swing. And so when I turned, it got my shoulder. So for the rest of the movie, I mean, it cut me like that. And it was bleeding. I was like, oh, that's real. Hold on, that's real. Yeah. Just another one. If you look closely, when the two stripper pole assassins are attacking me, the same thing happened. Flying Laura had done a Van Damme kick, and on the back of her heels are real razors. And she did another one, and I did the same mistake. I turned around and said, okay, on the next one, we're going to go live. And I turned around and it whipped my face. And so for the rest of that scene, I had a cut here, here, and here that were bleeding. And so I had to put ice on it in between scenes, clear the blood off, and then say my line and do what I was going to do, and then go back and then get the blood off again. So there's a few little mistakes that happen, but overall, I went to the ER twice. Charlie, best friend, went to the ER once. Other than that, nobody but us got hurt. Next time, I think I'm just going to hurt Charlie. I'm going to stay out of the ER myself. Really, yeah, I scraped my leg pretty bad in a fight scene, and I could see the bone. I still have a big scar there. On
God. Oh,
yeah. So I had to excuse myself. Like, you guys keep filming. You got the script.
I gotta take care of this.
Film the stuff without me. I got to go to the ER. I can see my damn bone bleeding. Yeah. So I went, got stitched up, came back, finished up the day.
But I mean, look at this, man. Like, watching this movie, everybody watching this stream right now, if you guys are fans of Death Wish 3, Exterminator 2, I mean, this is what it's all about, man.
Boy, you got me there. Death Wish 3 was the best of the 5, I'd say.
That's my favorite.
First one was too serious, but that blonde.
Are we brothers or not? I mean, Jesus.
I mean, we sound pretty close in our taste. Our taste is very similar.
Yeah, but look at this: real saw blades, strippers, knives getting thrown at crotches. I mean, come on. And then the shot. That's right. The shot.
I did a bunch of push-ups before that scene.
Yeah. The shot that made Samurai go, okay, I gotta watch this. Oh, here's some more stunt work from you doing stunts.
Yeah, this is I lost the camera on that scene.
The one inside the car?
Yeah, so the one that's filming there, that was
didn't make it
from a friend. I thought it would be interesting to put one inside, and then we put pillows around it, and then I hit pretty hard. I hit that car pretty hard, broke the windows. And then we said, let's take a look at the footage. We pulled the card out, so I got the shot, but the camera was dead. I'm like, sorry, I just killed your camera.
Happens.
Yeah.
This is my second favorite shot of the movie. This shot. With you walking down here. I mean, everybody watching this, look at this. Look at the lighting, look at everything. Does this guy not look like he literally stepped out of a Frank Miller graphic novel? Like, that's what I was thinking the whole time, man. Like,
this was a
graphic novel character coming out of the pages.
Right. So it's a good thing you're picking up on it. So this was modeled after Watchmen, which was my favorite. It's still to this day my favorite graphic novel. The character development on it was just a beautiful graphic novel, and I really like the adaptation of the movie that they made.
Yeah,
but Frank Miller's drawings, when you'll see the figurine, but you can't see the face. And so the way Brandon and I lit this was to have a heavy light up above, and then I crushed the blacks in post so that you could see my face, but in post, I took the face out. And I was like, I think I'm going to use that for the poster. And did I? No, I didn't. Well, there's another version of the poster.
Similar concept, though.
That's it. But that ended up being a little bit too black in the face, though. But you can see the jawline. And the thing that didn't come out in this scene is I'm actually pulling the hammer, and it didn't. I think we filmed it maybe a little bit too high. We should have gotten back another foot or something to show that. But that's why.
When you're pulling the hammer, that shot too. Like,
because I'm thoroughly beat up in the scene, so I'm like almost limping, and I'm pulling the hammer. Yeah. But a lot of fun doing this. I can't wait to make another one. If I could make a sequel to this one, it'd be wonderful. But I've got to wait until money comes in from this one. To get interested in the second one. Incidentally, my wife, who's kind of a big deal down in Colombia, like she has a charity, big charity, that she was actually Woman of the Year in Colombia several years ago. She meets with all the generals and officials every year. She brought me down, and she meets with the president. And when I first met her, she said it was our second date. She brought me down to Bogota. She goes, "Would you like to go to the governor's ball? And I'd like to introduce you to the president." And I said, "The president of a company?" She goes, "No, the president of Colombia." And I thought she was full of shit. Like, what? No, she meets with the president of Colombia every single year. So she's got a little bit of clout down there. And she talked to the head of the army general, who I talked to when I was down there last time. I've been there 4 times now. And we stayed at the army base. And he said, if you want to film a sequel to this movie, you feel free to come on down and we'll help you out. and we'll take you out in the helicopters out into the jungle. So if we do film a sequel, there's a real actual chance we'll be out there in Kali. Now, in the end of the movie, I based it in Kali because that's where the war is going on. He said he'll take us actually out there, maybe a couple miles from the war zone. Like, my God, how could I possibly pass up that chance? Who's that?
It's my wife here. Say hi to Bryan.
Hi there. Hello.
There you go. That's the man right there.
Very nice to meet you. Hello, Miss Samurai.
Sorry.
Yeah, Miss Samurai. Yeah. Can I get some loving live, baby? Yeah. Oh, that's it.
Nicely done. Yes. Hey, what's it like? Living with a guy who's such a movie buff and such an encyclopedia of knowledge?
He's asking what's it like living with a movie buff? Yeah. Who has all this knowledge?
Then I'll ask you, what's it like?
That was perfect.
The best answer. Perfect. Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited for hopefully we get Wrecker 2 up and running, man.
I hope so. Yeah.
Let's go. And we're almost done here. Let's keep it going here. But I love this shot. I love that shot.
Thank you. I like that shot too.
And man, just what a beatdown. And again, with the comedy. Lights out.
With the comedy. So if you back up to that car being destroyed there. So that's Aubrey Carsey. So the guy that's in there looking up in the car that's about to be crushed, that guy is the guy that's actually in the very next shot. He's the loader operator. He had that. He gives all the soil to the people around here that in their gardens and stuff. And I said, hey, can I use that? Can I use that in a movie? And the cars were donated by the local shop, TNT, for free. They towed them out there. It's like, yeah, you can destroy these cars. It's a local car lot that, like, when a car is T-boned, there's one side that's all busted up and one side that's perfect. So I just put the camera on the perfect side and smashed into it. So it looked like I'm hitting new cars. I actually hit just cars that were scheduled to be scrapped. And so that big thing falls down. So actually he killed himself. See, in the shot, you can't see who's operating the loader because it's hilarious. Him. And it's one of my dummies in the back.
That's hilarious. That's brilliant.
We had a fun
makes me laugh too over here.
Yeah.
Making me laugh. He's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Out as much as possible. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just killing people. It's a movie.
I'm a vigilante. God damn it. What do you expect?
What do you think I'm doing? It's a B-80s movie. I'm killing people. Yeah. So this was the deal here. We filmed this with lights out. We filmed it with lights out, beep. But I love the lights out, motherfucker, boom, and walk away. Yeah. The distribution company, which is Indie Rights, they warned me, like, you can't really put that online. By the way, Linda Nelson and Indie Rights, wonderful distribution company down in LA that took us on right away, and they've had us ever since. They've been great. But she's got a point. Some people wouldn't want to see the film if you swear in the title. I thought, but it's such a great meme. One of my friends said, God, my wife hates me at night because when I put my kids to sleep, I say, lights out, motherfuckers, and I turn out the light. It's a catchy tune. It's an I'll be back with a swear word. And it's the way I said it, like, we filmed it over and over again. Like, God, I really love that one. I wonder if it would catch on. I was thinking about making a meme of it, but it's got a swear word in it. So I don't know if it would take off or not.
Yeah. I just put the little asterisks in there. Yeah. For the U or whatever.
It doesn't, when I put the beep, lights out beep, and I beep it over, it doesn't sound right. It's not as cool. Yeah.
But we love our curse in here. Plus, it just it fits the fucking movie. Yeah,
it fits the fucking movie exactly.
So
yeah,
good, so good. Love the lighting here too.
So this is just me and my ex-girlfriend Artemis, and she's working the camera. She stayed after when we filmed some other stuff. I'm like, hey, let's film this one scene as long as you're here. I did all the animations right there, by the way. That record.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So when you see anything, when the words come up, like in this, that's all I did. I did everything you're seeing.
Man,
added that lens flare on the K.
Look at that.
The whole
so
deal.
Good. So good.
Yeah.
So good. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Yeah.
A lot of work, but overall, to show your friends and people, especially people that don't know who you are, there's 1,800 comments, positive comments on YouTube right now, 1,800. And I went through them all, and I'm seeing I only see the negative ones. I went, what's the negative? One guy says, hey, this is crap. And I wrote back to him, well, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Sorry you didn't like it. Maybe you'll like the next one. And then he replies, and then the next day he replies, well, who's this? And I said, I'm the guy with the sledgehammer, Brian Brooks. And he goes, oh my God. And I wrote back to him like, yeah, like just trying to entertain people. You shouldn't take it too seriously. Well, he writes back a couple days later. He says, I've watched it 2 more times. I absolutely love it. I'm sorry I gave you the bad review.
There you go.
Thank you. When nobody knows who you are, it pays to have a bunch of good reviews and not a bunch of bad reviews. So, yeah, so far that's doing good. Right now, Rotten Tomatoes, it's at 100% with 75 ratings.
Holy shit. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, which is really nice. So people see it, and I think what they do is if once you know that it's made by, hey, it's just a guy that made this. I'm not a big company. I'm just a guy that got some friends together to make a movie. Then you're like, yo, rate this like El Mariachi. Don't rate it like Desperado. Those are 2 different films made by the same guy, but Desperado definitely had a budget. I didn't. So I got by with whatever I could, buying pizzas for people and making favors, whatever I could do. And I got it done. And so when you know that, then you rate it. You know, like, hey,
I just said this a couple of days ago. I literally just said this a couple of days ago when I interviewed Leroy. I said the same thing. I was like, all of these critics out there need to do what I do. And like I'm not gonna review this low budget Western and immediately compare it to The Good and the Bad and the Ugly.
Yeah.
Or immediately compare it to Tombstone. That would be idiotic.
That's what people do though,
Yeah.
This isn't tight.
They're idiots.
It's not supposed to be. Yeah.
They're idiots. Right?
And once again, what you got to say is, how many movies have you made?
Exactly.
How many scripts did you write?
Yeah. All I need to know is that low budget Western. Did I get entertainment out of it?
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Did it have a good story? Did it have good characters? Was there something in there I could draw from? Then I rate the movie. But people are idiots. And they're going to look at this $10,000, not even that, $5,000 Western, and they're going to try to compare it to Fistful of Dollars. Like, what are you doing?
People are mean, unless like I caught that one
They're
guy.
idiots.
Like, hey, how you doing? Once I caught him, he was like, oh, well, let me watch it again. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's fine. It's okay to, but a lot of times the only times you get a comment are when somebody doesn't like what you got, or they only saw half of it and didn't realize like, hey, there's a lot of work that goes into this. The police chief constantly has a problem with the reputation. He's got the paper. The girl that's the girlfriend of the detective is constantly talking about a ring. There's just in the writing alone to give every character something special, then have that actress go off into it, and then you create this story that you hope entertains people. That's it. You hope it entertains people. To have somebody say, hey, this sucks. Well, you didn't pay attention because it took a lot of work to put this together.
Right. And like there's nothing wrong with, everyone's different, right? The movies are subjective, right? But there's nothing wrong with, giving constructive criticism too. Like, I see what they did there. I wish they could have did that. Or, oh, you know what? I like the ending, but I think it would have been better if they did this. Constructive criticism sometimes can help you on your next project.
It'd be good if I got that, unfortunately.
I know. But I just talked about this. But I think my favorite comment that I love to hate is, I know 5th graders that can make a better movie than, I see that all the time. High schoolers commit. I see that all the time. And it's like, all right. When you see stuff when you see those kind of comments and stuff like that, you can't take those people seriously, man.
No, unfortunately, there's not a lot of them, but every now and then you'll see one, and it's really, really mean. Oh, okay, well, let's just skip past that one. And then somebody else said, somebody I've never met before in another country, said, I love how this brings me back to the nostalgia of the 80s and early 90s of the movies I used to like when I was a kid. There you go. That's a real comment. That's a compliment because you got it. Yeah, you saw what the effort was and you get it.
Samurai Guy got it, baby.
Yeah.
I got it. I got it right away. And again, congratulations on your long journey in finishing the film, getting it out there, and you're getting the positive feedback from everyone. Congrats, man. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's wonderful. It's wonderful to be on the show and be noticed and to have a little bit of attention. That's all I'm asking for. And
it's what I do. It's what I do.
Yeah.
Just help spread the word as best as I can. But these wonderful, lovely articles.
Yeah. So that was the World Newswire that they featured us down in Bogota on
cool, man. Yeah, and you got Latin America did it. Yeah. Latin America and United Kingdom. Yeah, that's so awesome, man. Yeah. Congrats, brother. Congrats.
Yeah. That brings me back. That's my wife graduated Cambridge over there, so that's it's nice to have a nice that it's getting noticed in the different countries around the world. I think there was one in Germany as well. But yeah, that was really super duper nice.
Yeah, and it's well deserved, brother. Well deserved. So everybody watching this right now, you know what you need to do. If you like action, baby, that's right. If you like action, if you like the horror, if you're fans of horror, if you're fans of one-on-one beatdown fests, that's right. Big meaty men slapping meat, throwing each other through walls, baby. All right, that's right.
Speaking that language, yeah.
Just absolute, a lot of fun, a lot of homages. This guy gets it. Bryan Brooks gets it, baby. So we got to support him on his next project for sure. And please, we are all praying to the action gods out there that we get a record too, baby. Because look at this shot.
Me too.
Look at this character. Look at this. We need to see this character back in action once again. That's right. That's right. And you need to put Samurai Guy in your next movie. Let's go.
Would you want a part? Of course, I put you in.
Yeah, you got to put me in there. You break my neck quick.
I'll totally kill you.
Yeah,
you'll die a horrible death.
Yes. Yeah. I'll throw a right hook, and that's it. You duck, break my neck, done. Oh, rip it off. There you go. Rip it off. There you go. Yeah. But
Samurai Guy said
yeah, let's do it. I'm down. Here we go. We have awesome action.
Hey, there's my sister.
Oh, it's your sister.
Kelly Cohen, yes, professional physique competitor. The only human being I can stand next to where I look like I'm fat is Kelly. She's got an 8-pack. She's a beautiful person, 2 years older than me, has 4 kids, and looks like she's 27. She's a professional model, has just a wonderful, her physique is just absolutely amazing. Incidentally, also a cancer survivor just of this last year, cancer and heart attack. The radiation treatment gave her not a heart attack, but all the symptoms of a heart attack where a valve shut down. And so we just went up to Washington to see my mom and her. And I thought when I saw her, I thought I was going to see my sister just walking all decrepit. No, she was cleaning up the floor. Hey, great to see you guys. Like, oh, you're alive. I thought you're dying. I forgot that nothing kills my sister. So yeah, very tough woman. And I was, it really behooved me to put her in the next film. Because like I say, it's one of the few physiques I can stand next to where I feel like, well, I gotta hit the gym. Like,
so I'll never stand next to you, Kelly. But yeah, I'm glad she's doing great. And
I am too.
Sounds like she's badass. That's super right. Badass.
Yeah,
that's right. But she says can't wait to bring it around again on Halloween. There you go. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, of course, that's a Halloween movie. Love you, bro. Ex-wife goes, oh, she's proud of me. Well, I'm proud of her too. Yeah.
Now you know you made it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Family's like you.
Support of the family.
Like,
that's great.
You've done well. You've done well. Yeah. But yeah, man, this was an absolute blast, brother. And this is your second home, son. That's right. Come back anytime. Yeah,
this was great. Hey, the wife wants me to ask.
Sure.
The San Diego Comic-Con. I've never been to something like that. It would be a reason to head down there and go to it if we could come and see it. What's the information about that? When is that?
I haven't even looked up anything yet. I know it's probably most likely late July.
So we got time. Okay, we got time. Yeah, let me know more about that. I'd love to come see it.
Oh, I would love to meet you in person and get the.
I went to my first Comic-Con here just 3 months ago down in Bogota. We went to, what was it called again? The Cena.
Yeah.
It's Bogota. It's the largest Comic-Con in South America.
Oh,
and I'd never been to one. And I walked in, and we had an agent down there that was giving interviews, and one of the interviews was in there already. And so they were doing an interview, and the guy saw me in the crowd and said, "And look who's here! It's Bryan Brooks with Wrecker." And I walked out. It was really cool. And I thought, just for the sake of just doing something fucking stupid, at the end of the interview, I put my head down between his legs and I picked him up. I put him on my shoulders. And the cameraman was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know, giving you guys something fun for the edit." And they loved it. So then another guy that was giving interviews for another thing came over and
Yeah.
he said, "Hey, can I interview you? Who are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm Brian Brooks. Can I interview you? Will you pick me up?" And I said, "Of course." So that was the last Comic-Con. It was a blast to go to something like that with all these comic book fans. Like, oh my God, this is like heaven for me. But the big one is San Diego. I've always heard about it, never gone.
Huge. Prepare to walk sideways for a while.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So crowded.
There's like a couple 100,000 people. Is that right?
It's last year they weren't expecting that much, but it was just as packed.
Well, the pictures that I saw, like there's people dressed up like the Predator that looked as good as the Predator in the movies. Like, where are you getting these costumes from? Like, amazing. Yeah,
the cosplayers are really extremely talented.
It's a
that would be dope if you walked around as Wrecker, man. If you had the sledgehammer with you and walked around, that would be dope.
I've got all the equipment here.
Cosplayers as the character. I say do it. Have fun. I mean, it's several days.
I wonder if I could get Charlie to come down and wear the eye patch and walk around with the leather jacket.
Would be great. I'm telling you, you would draw attention with you walking around with a sledgehammer.
With the blood on my face?
You would draw attention. People would be like, "Who's that?"
Who's that? Well, come up and find out.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I think
I would look into it, as soon as possible though, because it's hard to get into those things.
Yeah, I would imagine. Well, so you need tickets to get in, and you need hotels. Which I would imagine.
If you're planning on staying there, there's some nice hotels right next to it. I just drive there because it's like an hour and a half away from me. So I just drive there, go and come back home.
Oh, okay. So you're in LA?
No, I'm in Moreno Valley.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm in there.
I don't know where that is. Okay. Yeah. Well,
it's like close to Riverside.
Okay, close to Riverside. You're
San Diego, Moreno Valley, Riverside, LA.
When I was trying to be an actor down there, I was in Rancho Palos Verdes, which is a kind of a nice place, but a hell of a trip to get into LA, where I bartended at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Oh man! And
found out that everybody else was trying to be an actor too, and I mean everybody else, everybody you meet. Hey, I've got a script. Hey, I've got this acting role. Like, God, this is going to be So I ended up starting my acting career up in Northern California, where I'm at now.
Wow!
A lot less competition. Yeah.
Well, we're rooting for you, brother. And of course, if you're at Comic-Con this year, I would love to meet you in person. Just hit me up. We'll meet somewhere.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, that'd be great, man.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah.
But hey, this was a blast, an honor to have both of you.
Super fun,
on the channel. I mean it though. Second home, man.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of filmmakers on here, and afterwards they just come back if they're bored. Like, I need a break from directing. Hey, let's talk about Predator. And then we review movies and stuff. So yeah, man, anytime.
Well, I think we went over time, but it's so much fun to talk to you. Yeah, it's so much fun to talk to you. I'd love to come back.
I appreciate it, brother. That means a lot. That means a lot.
Yeah, you bet.
But don't go anywhere. But all you badasses watching, hey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Old Samurai Guy. Follow the main. We're gonna get it right. We're going to get it right. There you go. Follow my man here on Instagram. The link is in the description box below. Follow him on and the Queen. That's right. Mm-hmm. Follow them on their filmmaking journey. More badassity is on the way. And we're going to wrap it up for today. Brian, don't go anywhere, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. We got more movie discussions and spoilers with special guests with your boy Samurai here. Before we wrap it up, Brian, say the line, baby. Say the line.
Lights out, motherfucker.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. Peace out.
Bye-bye.